Hey guys, what's up? It's Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and I want to talk to you today about WrestleMania 19. There was a lot to love on this card, but unfortunately you had one of the weirdest and most racially charged storylines going in the WWE at that time between Triple H and Booker T. This was a storyline that had been built on prejudice. Trips frequently made note of Booker's past criminal life and spat over his WCW title run, saying that the big gold belt was a joke when he held it. It was a match that strangely saw Triple H put down the sledgehammer and pick up the shovel as he buried Booker T cleanly in the middle of the ring. After being down for 23 seconds after a pedigree, he finally covered him and retained his title. It was a spot that screamed, "This is how powerful my pedigree is! Is my move over?" Yes, it is, Trips. You can calm down. The result was all a bit depressing in how it confirmed the supremacy of white America. Ooh. But let's talk about what could have happened, because I've got my fancy space portal again, the time dilation wrestling thing, very specific technology here, that allows me to look into different timelines and see how a completely different ending to this storyline could have come about. So with this in mind, I'm Jules from WhatCulture.com, and this is how the Booker T versus Triple H feud should have ended. So in this timeline, much like in our own, the WWE has decided that Triple H will go up against Booker T. Booker T is over, he's a great sports entertainer and good on the mic. And they also follow the idea of delving into Booker T's real-life past to get some steam for the storyline. And to be fair, his real-life backstory is really interesting. He was the youngest of a family of 8, and unfortunately both of his parents died by the time that he was 13. And while working as a cook for Wendy's, committed several inside job robberies before the uniforms sort of gave him away. Booker T was sentenced to 5 years. You get the joke, he was sentenced to 5 years. But he only served 19 months. Intent on providing a better life and a better example for his son, Booker T dropped all of that, got in shape, and decided to pick up pro wrestling. That is a good story to tell, especially when you're going up against Triple H, the man who was handpicked to be Vince's next in line. Sorry, Shane. So in this timeline, Booker T is still cemented as the #1 contender by throwing The Rock out of the ring, the last man in the Battle Royale, and then challenges for the title. And the next Monday night, he makes his intentions clear. But Triple H isn't obviously very happy about this and comes to the ring and, well, let's just say delivers some very racially charged moments. He delivers lines such as, "I think you're a little confused here. Someone like you doesn't get to be world champion." Triple H continues the verbal beatdown by saying that he's a dancer, an entertainer, not a champion like him. The fact that Trips mocks Booker T so badly, much like he did in our own timeline, highlights the fact that Booker T needs to win this feud. It's almost not even about the title. It's about letting Booker T become an inspiration. It's about fighting people who challenge you based on your race or your background by standing up to them. "I'll dance all over your punk ass," Booker T responds to Trips. But in order to underscore the heel cowardice of Triple H, it's stablemate Ric Flair who comes down to add to the insults. He acts as a perfect foil because he says to Booker T that he wants him to pick up his bag, chauffeur him to his private jet at the airport, which allows Booker T to snap and lay out Flair. So later on, Triple H is shown to be in a bathroom and Booker T enters. Triple H, not looking, mistakes Booker T as a bathroom attendant and throws $1 at him and asks him to grab him a towel. This causes Booker T to snap and dances all over Triple H's punk ass in the bathroom. Okay, so far it's pretty racially charged, but wrestling doesn't do subtlety, and if the payoff is right, then it's all worth it. But the payoff isn't coming yet. We're not at WrestleMania. So 2 weeks before the main event, Triple H comes down to the ring and does his usual stick, basically saying that Booker T doesn't deserve to be a champion, that he's not like him. It's the same sort of stuff. And yeah, it could be considered a little bit boring, but it keeps establishing what this feud is about. And remember that realism is a prerequisite for fantasy booking, else we'd just book Linda to divorce Vince and erase Stephanie from existence. But instead of Booker T emerging, Goldust interrupts. He's Booker T's friend after all, and just says to Triple H, "You can't judge a book by its cover," pun intended. Triple H, not happy with the comedy, I wasn't just then, lays out Goldust, and it just adds a bit more fuel to the fire. Booker T emerges from Gorilla and beats Triple H down. This story is turning into a real page-turner. But you can't have the storyline being too predictable, so in order to establish that Triple H doesn't just think he's the best, but is the best, goes over Goldust later that night. On the go-home show between Goldust and Booker T, there's an exchange in which Goldust says, "Don't hate the player," and Booker T responds, "Hate the game." We are ready for the showdown. Now, I know what you're probably thinking by this point in the video. Jules, this timeline is exactly the same as what happened in our own one. Yes, but there is one major difference. At WrestleMania 19 itself, after a match reaching a length of, let's just say off the top of our heads, 18 minutes and 47 seconds, Booker T f***ing wins. That's how you end the storyline. It made no sense for Triple H to win this. The man with Vince's silver dick in his mouth, going over the plucky underdog, the inspiration, the rags to rich stories did not make any sense. It alienated a huge part of the WWE's demographic by doing so. And it was a stupid storyline. For it to end that way, yes, it would have been predictable for Booker T to win. But sometimes predictability and the right thing are the same thing. It would have been far more enjoyable to see him go over than Triple H retain. Tell me I'm wrong. It's also how you diffuse the blatant racism that this storyline was charged with. Without that, you're left with a ton of animosity in the air. So it made no sense for Triple H to win. So all you've got to do to book this right is have Booker T f***ing win. I can't state that enough. The end. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe below, and if you're looking for more content like this, then try a few things that are floating about around my ears. Might be fun. I can't promise it though, but it might be.